All right. So UFC Seattle is coming up this weekend, Saturday night. My first video on the channel. Thought I'd just come on here, get my picks for the upcoming event. Um, yeah, I mean that's basically it. I'll just get right into it, not waste no time. So the first fight on the card is Modestas Bukauskas versus Rafael Sequeira. So, I mean, Modestas Bukauskas, a solid underdog or favorite. Coming into this fight, obviously he's been on a decent little run. Not nothing too much special, but and then you got Rafael Sequeira. Obviously his last fight, got his debut, got knocked out in like a minute. Rough start, but I think he can bounce back. I think he can bounce back, get this one. He's a pretty sizable underdog, plus 225 underdog coming into this one. But me personally, I think that we haven't seen the most of him. Obviously, he got knocked out instantly. So, I think that we could be seeing him. I think like in this fight, we're gonna see his full potential. Really see what he can do, and so I think that me personally, I'm a pick him. Pick a little underdog pick. What do I got it by? I think I'm gonna just I'll probably just take him by decision, honestly. Rafael Sequeira decision. I feel like that'd be a safe bet. Anyways, so next on the card is Nursultan Ruzaboyev versus Eric McConaughey, I think. Um, Never heard of the dude. He's making his debut. Don't know who he is. Heard of Ruzaboyev. Giant dude, just a monster. Big old dude, big underdog or big favorite too. Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's a safe bet. Not much is known about Eric because it's his debut. I doubt many people know him. Ruzaboyev he looked very good against Bruno Ferreira. Knocked him out in like 2 minutes or something, like surprisingly, and obviously then he had his fight against Joaquin Buckley. At the time it was like, wow, like this dude just got fraud checked, like this dude ain't that good. He just lost to Joaquin Buckley, but I mean, look at where Buckley is now. I mean, he just destroyed Kobe Covington. He's on a big winning streak right now, so I feel like the losses age pretty well for Ruzaboyev. So yeah, I'll take Ruzaboyev in this one. What do I take him by? I'm feeling a knockout. I don't think it's gonna be round one. I think Eric's gonna be able to hang in there, but I think round two, Ruzaboyev will get him out of there. I think he'll take this one pretty easily. Next up is Nikolay Veretennikov versus Austin Vanderford. Vanderford, I literally just learned yesterday, he's fought in Bellator. I think he fought for the belt, if I'm not wrong, but he lost that. But yeah, don't know much about him. I don't really know much about these guys outside of the UFC. I mainly only focus on UFC. But yeah, I mean, Veretennikov fought Danny Barlow in his debut. Looked alright. I wouldn't say he was like really good. It was a pretty close fight, which is impressive considering Danny Barlow is a very good striker, like extremely good striker. It definitely surprised me watching that fight, but I just think Danny Barlow looked a little off that night. He just really did not look like himself, and so Veretennikov, I really don't think he's that good. Like, I don't think he'll ever be like a ranked fighter or nothing. He'll probably just be like a guy that like bounces around, like, beating some of these unranked dudes. I think he beats Vanderford. Austin's a solid fighter, obviously. But yeah, I think he's just not UFC ready at the moment. But yeah, I mean, I think it could be a decent fight. I'll probably take Veretennikov by decision. I don't think I'll finish him. I think Vanderford. I think it'll be a little back and forth fight. Next fight, Ricky Simon versus Javid Basharat. So Ricky Simon, he had some promise. I know. Like I haven't seen much of him. I've only been watching UFC. I think 3 years now. since like 2022, like very start of 2022. I think I watched the first card of the year, and then that was like the first card I ever watched. So I've never seen much of Ricky Simón because he hasn't fought much over the past like couple years. So I can't really say much about him. He fought Vinicius Oliveira in his last fight. Got pieced up to say the least, but that's also Vinicius Oliveira. That dude is a monster. Just beat Said Nurmagomedov like a few weeks ago. So yeah, I mean, no shame in losing to Vinicius. Definitely, that guy's real good. I think he'll definitely be like a top 10 guy. Solid dude in that division. He's facing Javid Bashrat. They just keep feeding him to these monsters. I remember he fought Song Yadong, got knocked out in the 5th round. Yeah, I mean, Ricky Simón just keeps getting killers. I mean, Javid Bashrat, I wouldn't really consider him a killer, actually. I feel like I think he was a little overrated. You know, he lost pretty, not bad, but he lost to Ayman Zahabi. Very surprising. I'm pretty sure he was a pretty sizable favorite in that fight. And then yeah, I mean, Ayman just went out there, looked real good, looked real solid. And I mean, Zahabi's ranked now, so not too bad. It's not a bad loss. But yeah, I mean, Javid Bashrat versus Ricky Simón. I'll probably just take Bashrat by decision. I thought this is a safe pick. Bashrat's minus 290 favorite, so obviously he's favored to win. So yeah, I'll probably just take him by decision. I don't think Bashrat's got much finishing ability. Anyways, up next, well, this is a guy with a lot of finishing ability. Mansour Abdul Malik versus Nick Klein. I've never seen anything of Nick Klein. I know he's a Contender Series guy. I'm pretty sure he had like that big like moment where he like went up to Dana White after knocking the dude out and was like, John Jones is the GOAT. So I think that's like what he's known for. Don't matter, he's gonna get laid out. That's what I think, at least. Mansour Abdul Malik, real solid fighter, like really good. His last fight, he fought Todorovic. You know, obviously Todorovic isn't like a elite fighter or nothing. Like, he's not a great guy, but Mansour just went out there and just, I mean, he demolished him. Just ran through him with ease. I think he'll do something very similar to Nick Klein. I mean, he's a minus 800 favorite, so obviously, you know, the odds makers think the exact same thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm taking Mansour all day. I'll take him 1st round knockout. I think he's gonna get Nick Klein out of there real quick. Next fight is Andre Fili versus Melkaziel Costa. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's Andre Fili. You know, everyone knows him. Not many people know Costa. I mean, the only reason I really know him is because of his skin. I don't even know what you call it. I forget what it's called, but it's like the thing where you're like white and black. I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm actually surprised. Like, I'm very surprised to see that Costa's in. Although it is a slight favorite, I'm surprised to see that he's the favorite in this fight. I thought for sure seeing this fight, Fili would be a pretty decent favorite because Melkaziel hasn't won much. Like, he's not a great fighter. He's definitely lost he's lost a few fights in the UFC, but Andre Fili, obviously a vet, you know, been in the UFC for probably 10 years now. Actually, he's probably been like close to 10 years he's been in the UFC. I think it's been over 10 years. Yeah, I mean, it's Andre Fili. Dude's solid. Chin's a little iffy, but you know, he's got some good striking. He's a slick dude on the feet. I think he'll take this fight. I think he's gonna piece Costa up, just kind of beat him up for a few rounds, and then yeah, I mean, probably get him out of there. 2nd, 3rd round, probably, you know, finish off Costa. On to the next fight, Ion Cutelaba versus Ibo Aslan. Both guys are just like both guys are the type of guy who just go out there and just look to kill. Like, they just look to get a 1st round knockout and just leave. Both guys, you know, they're all offense, no defense. You know, Cutelaba been knocked out a bunch. Like, Aslan, I don't think has ever been knocked out. So yeah, I mean, like, this one's gonna be like you can just tell this one's gonna be like a crazy fight. It's not gonna last long, but it's gonna be a crazy fight. These two are just gonna go out there and just start swinging. And I think that Aslan's chin is gonna hold up, and Cutelaba's is not. I think Cutelaba is gonna go night. You know, Aslan he's 2-0 in the UFC now. Fought Turkali in his debut, and then fought Rafael Sequeira. Got both of them out of there, knocked them both out. Ibo, I don't think he's that skilled. He's just got insane chin and insane power. I don't think he's that skilled. Same with Kutalaba. Kutalaba is just a really powerful guy. I don't think he's really that good. Yeah, I think Ibo's gonna continue his undefeated streak in the UFC. I think Ion Kutalaba maybe the last of them. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'll take Ibo by first round knockout in this one. Now on to the main card. The first fight is Alonzo Menifield versus Julius Walker. Can't tell you who Julius Walker is. Never heard of the dude. Obviously I've heard of Alonzo Menifield. He's got a few fights in the UFC. More than a few fights. He's got like a bunch of fights in the UFC. Yeah, I mean he's had an up and down career. He surged. His peak was probably like 2023. You know, not 2024. Probably like 2022, 2023 was his like main peak. That's when he actually started like, you know, hit his stride, get into the rankings. But then, you know, as of late, he's been on a really big downfall. You know, had that 0 IQ strategy against Carlos Oberg where he just like charged in head first at him and got laid out in like 12 seconds. And then he just fought Azamat Mirzakhanov, got knocked out. You know, he looked decent in that fight. Like he was holding his own until like the second, third round. And then he just got pieced up and obviously knocked out. So yeah, I mean Menifield's had a rough little stretch as of late, but you know, I think he's gonna turn around. You know, I don't know anything about Julius Walker, so me personally, I'm just gonna take Alonzo Menifield, and I'll probably take him by decision. I don't think he's gonna finish this dude. I think I think it'll just go to a decision. You know, probably clear Menifield 2-1, 3-0 ish. Next up, Gian Silva versus Melsik Bagdasaryan. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? Gian Silva is incredible. Dude is a monster. This fight makes no sense, if I'm being honest. Like, he fought Charles Jourdain. Well, before that, Weston Wilson, but, you know, it's Weston Wilson. Fought Charles Jourdain and then fought Drew Dober. Destroyed them both, and now he's fighting Melsik Bagdasaryan. Like, are we serious? But, yeah, I mean, I think he's going to destroy Melsik Bagdasaryan. I think he is going to outclass him everywhere. I don't think Melsik really stands a chance. I mean, who knows? There's been some huge upsets already this year. I'm hoping it's not this one because I actually love Gian Silva. I love the fighting nerds. They're like my favorite fighters. So yeah, I mean, Gian Silva loses, might have to dive out the window, but nah, I don't really see him losing. I think Gian Silva takes this one. You know, maybe a knockout. I'll probably take decision. You know, Melsik's a tough dude. So I'll probably take Gian Silva by decision. On the next fight, Rob Font versus Gian Matsumoto. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a crazy fight. I can just tell this is going to be a really, really good fight. Obviously, it was supposed to be Rob Font versus Dominic Cruz, but Dominic got the shoulder injury and just retired. Like, just flat out retired, which was surprising to see. I mean, I had a feeling like he was going to retire anyway. Like, win or lose against Rob Font, he was going to retire, but yeah, I mean, we didn't get to see the fight. He just retired after the injury. Sad to see, you know, obviously a legend, but, you know, he knew he wasn't really going to be able to come back and do much. So, anyway, Rob Font versus Gian Matsumoto. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this fight. It's going to be a really good fight. I'm a big fan of Gian Matsumoto. I think this dude is very good. He's got a lot of skills, very slick striking, but so does Rob Font. You know, obviously Rob he's a known dude. Everyone knows Rob Font. Been around for a long time, you know, and I'm a little surprised to see Matsumoto's the favorite, but I do think that Matsumoto is going to win. I do think he's going to take this one. Now, it's not going to be easy, obviously. Gian Matsumoto's last fight fought Brad Katona. Did struggle a little, but you know, you gotta give him credit. Brad Katona is a very, very good fighter, very solid dude. Yeah, I think Matsumoto is gonna take this one against Rob Font by decision. Who knows? Maybe we're seeing a new Rob Font. I mean, have you seen that bald head? We could be seeing a new Rob Font, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I'll just take Gian Matsumoto by decision. Take a little safe bet. I don't think there's gonna be a finish in this one. On to the co-main event. Brendan Allen versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. these two have fought before, a long time ago. I know Anthony Hernandez won. I think it was just by a decision. Yeah, I mean, both solid guys. Brendan Allen was on a crazy streak for a while, and then he fought Nasruddin Imavov, lost to him. Obviously, you know, there's no shame in losing to Imavov. He's the #1 guy in the division now. If you ask me, I think Imavov should be next for the title. I don't think Chimaev should get the title just yet, but I think Imavov should be next for the title, fight Dracus. And yeah, I mean, I think Imavov could be a really tough fight for Dracus. I think he could really pose a threat. Imavov, insanely slick striker. I mean, he just knocked out Israel Adesanya. Probably the most depressing thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm a big Izzy fan. I know it's hard to say that you're an Izzy fan now, but I know a lot of people get hate for loving Izzy, but I've always been an Izzy fan. I have been. He's always been one of my favorite fighters. You know, he's kind of what brought me into the sport. You know, just like seeing Izzy, and so it was very sad to see him get knocked out. Like, that was really depressing. But yeah, I mean, Imavov, very good fighter. I think he should get a title shot. But anyways, that's besides the point. Talking about the card. Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be a very good fight. Both guys are incredible grapplers. I think Anthony Hernandez is gonna have the advantage on the feet. Maybe Brendan Allen will have the advantage on the ground. I think it's just gonna be a solid little scrap. But I do see Anthony Hernandez taking this. I think Anthony Hernandez is he's a very good fighter. I mean, he proved it against Michel Pereira. Going into that fight, I thought Michel was gonna lay Anthony Hernandez out cold. Like, I thought he was gonna finish him early, and it was looking like he was gonna do that. And then Michel just gassed like in the first round, and then Anthony just dragged it out and just mauled him, finished him in the 5th round, which was an extremely impressive performance. I'm pretty sure Anthony set a few records that night. Yeah, I mean, very good win for Anthony Hernandez. I think he'll get another win Saturday night against Brendan Allen. I think he's just the better fighter. And I think Anthony is going to show, I think he's really showing his true potential now. I think he's really going to get going. I think he could be a problem at middleweight. Now on to the main event. Oh yeah, I'd take Anthony Hernandez by decision, by the way. But yeah, now on to the main event. Henry Cejudo versus Song Yadong. Man, I really don't know what to choose for this fight. This is a very close fight on paper. You know, obviously, Henry Cejudo, one of the best fighters there is. Obvious Hall of Famer. Of course, I think he's already in the Hall of Fame, if I'm not mistaken. Triple C, you know, there's not much you can say about him. Well, there's a lot you could say about him, but yeah, I mean, he was the flyweight champ, double champ, became the bantamweight champ. Yeah, I mean, just a legend in the sport. Obviously, since his comeback, he's 0-2, but he did fight Aljamain Sterling, which was an extremely close fight, split decision. Fought Aljamain Sterling in his comeback, nearly won the fight, and then fought Merab, which he looked very good in the first round. He rocked Merab really early on, and then he won the first round, but ended up injuring his arm in the second, I believe, and just was never the same after the first round. Merab just kind of took over. But yeah, I mean, Henry Cejudo, really solid fighter. I've always been a fan of Cejudo. I've always liked him. You know, a lot of people call him cringe, but I mean, can't deny what he does in the cage. So, and then Song Yadong, again, another guy I'm a very big fan of. I love Song Yadong. Dude's got insane boxing, insane kicks, just everything about him on the feet is very good fighter. I think he could be a real problem for Cejudo, but I also think Cejudo could be a real problem for Song Yadong. So I'm kind of like split. You know, I'm kind of torn on this fight. I don't really know who to pick. Like, part of me wants, and honestly, the odds are crazy to me. I really don't know how Song Yadong is almost a 3-1 favorite. I really don't see that. I think that the odds, if anything, should be like even. Maybe even Cejudo the favorite. I think people are really sleeping on Cejudo in this fight. Yeah, I mean, I really don't know who to pick. I think that this fight is going to be insanely close. So I'm really confused on who I should pick for this one. Part of me wants to go with Song Yadong just because I love him so much, and I think he's a really good fighter. Had a decent fight with Peter Yan. Won the first round, I believe, but Yan stole the last two. I think I'm gonna take Song Yadong by decision. But I will not be surprised if Cejudo wins, and I wouldn't be surprised if Cejudo dominates him. Honestly, but yeah, I think I'm gonna take Song Yadong by decision in this one. So yeah, I mean those are my picks for this upcoming card: UFC Seattle